Okay, there is a small disturbance while recording the class. Okay, yeah, this is going fine. Yeah, there is a small disturbance. Okay, so now E is directly proportional to the I. E is directly proportional to the I. So I'm having the I equals to the Kc into E. So means when we don't have any error signal, then the current out this particular means the current at the output and this particular control circuit is going to be 0. So that's why the I purely depends on the error signal which is coming from the comparator. So these two are in proportion. So I equals to the Kc into E. So Kc is nothing but the proportional constant, or we may call it as a gain of the control circuit, but I'm considering that as a proportional constant for simplicity. So after that, I would like to analyze this concept, right? So in order to analyze this one, what I'm going to do means, wait a minute, I think yeah, this factor is going to be good. Yeah, in order to realize this particular entire setup, what I'm going to do means I'm defining certain variables. So here I'm assuming that the mass of the liquid which is there in the container, that is the tank container, is a M. The temperature of the liquid inside the container, that is the temperature of the liquid inside the container, and the same thing is taken as a temperature of the liquid which is flowing out. Means how much temperature is there within the liquid within the container. Means the temperature of the liquid within the container is same as the outflow liquid temperature. Is it not? Outflow liquid temperature. So theta is that one. Theta is nothing but the temperature of the inflowing liquid. C is nothing but the specific heat of the liquid in the tank. Specific heat of the liquid in the tank, and rho is the density of the liquid in the tank. V is the volume of the liquid flow per second, and R is the resistance of the heating element, which is nothing but the heater. But you people are well know about one equation which is nothing but the condition of heat balance. So here means condition of heat balance is nothing but how much power, means how much power we are applying. That entire thing is going to be how much power we are applying to this one, how much power we are applying to this particular heater. Heater is going to be generate some temperature. How much temperature generated by the heater, that is going to be the total amount of the temperature which we are supplying to the liquid available inside the container. So means the temperature which is going to be generated by this particular heater is the total power which we are applying to this particular setup, and this temperature is going to be absorbed by the liquid available inside the container, and the liquid available inside the container, as well as the same what is that temperature is going to be what is that for the inflowing liquid is also absorbing the temperature coming from this particular liquid as well as the outflowing. Means the total power which is given, the total temperature which is given to the heater is going to be the total power applied to this particular setup, and that particular total power is going to be absorbed by the liquid available inside the container, as well as the liquid difference between these two ends. Okay, so for that, the equation we are having the heat balancing condition equation. So power which is applied to the heater is nothing but it is going to be the I square into R. Is it all? It is going to be the I square into R. So I square into R. Wait. We don't have the board, so there are some difficulties. Yeah. I square into R, which is equals to the MC d theta by dt plus V rho C into theta minus theta I. This is the heat balancing condition equation. As you are the physics student, you know very well. But this term for what is that? This is the total temperature which is supplied to the entire setup, and this is the temperature absorbed by the the temperature inside the container, and the temperature difference between the inflow and outflowing liquid product of this term. So two terms are there. These two terms are equal to the total power which we are supplying to the heater. So this is what we are having the equation. Now here we assume certain variables. What is that? E, which is the error signal, theta, which is the temperature of the outflowing liquid, theta is the temperature of the inflowing liquid. So here these are the present temperature values, present variables. But these present variables are, means we can read at the same variables like this. I am assuming that E naught is a initial error signal just before starting the actual process. E naught is a initial error signal. So after switching on the circuit, there is a slight change in the error signal, and the addition of these two terms is going to be the E. And theta naught is a liquid, means initially when we are taking a liquid or something, each element or each material is having certain temperature. So each liquid is also having certain temperature, just like that. So when you are taking the container, just before switching on your setup, that liquid which is available inside the container is going to have some initial temperature. I am assuming that initial temperature is a theta naught. After turning on the setup, then it is going to mean there is a slight change in the initial temperature of the liquid. So I am assuming that slight change is the delta theta, and the total one becomes the present temperature after change is going to be the theta. Similar to this one is also same, this one is also same. So I am assuming that these three are different equations, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm naming those equations. I'm assigning the number to the equations. So the first one is a first assumption, I equals to Kc into E. Second assumption is a heat balancing condition, and these three are the elements. Okay, now in order to move further, what we do is we are going to substitute these values, these three equations, in the equation number 2. We are going to substitute these three equations, 3, 4, 5, in the respective positions of the second equation. So after substituting this one, we are going to get this equation, right? Which one? Not this one. Wait. Yeah. After substituting the third, fourth, fifth equations in the equation number 2, you are going to get this one. So all of you are having the material with you, I'm sure, because I sent you the PDF. So what you do is, after substituting those values, E equals to the E naught plus delta E, theta equals to the theta naught plus delta theta, and theta I is equals to the theta I naught plus delta theta. So theta I. So all those things are the changes in the respective variables, and I'm substituting those variables in the equation number 2. So after substituting and doing the simple mathematical calculations, you are going to come across what is that? This term, this final term. Okay. So after this equation, after this first equation, we are going to this one, right? So here I'm applying the differentiation to this particular term. So as we know that theta naught is a constant, na? So theta naught is a constant. This one is a change in the temperature. So theta naught is a constant. Now when you are differentiating this one, it is going to be the 0, obviously. So because of that, this term is not written in the second block, and after that, the rest is going to be the simple mathematical calculations. Okay. Now, so here I am assuming that there is no change in the error signal. There is no change in the liquid temperature of the liquid. There is no change in the inflowing liquid temperature. There is no change. Means if I am assuming that all are the initial conditions, we don't have any change. At that time, delta T, delta E, delta theta I equals to 0. Means the changes in the respective variables equals to 0. Means we are considering that the system is not yet started. Okay. So now, as the system is not yet started, these changes are 0 now. I am substituting this assumption in this equation. Then I am going to get the 7th equation, and subtract the 7th from the 6th. You are going to get this equation, and as you move on, you are going to means you will come across this equation. So if you do further simple mathematical calculations, you will come across the equation number 8. All of you have the material, so that's why I am not going step by step manner. So here it is a plus b whole square and all those things. If you simplify those things, you will come across this equation, and the final equation number 8 is this one. So here I am defining one variable which is nothing but the thermal resistance. I am defining one variable which is nothing but the thermal resistance, which is a 1 by V rho C. Means this term is going to be replaced by the RT, which is a thermal resistance, So this is the equation for that, replacing of the thermal resistance variable. So after taking the thermal resistance, do the cross multiplication, again the simple mathematical calculation. And here I'm defining the another two new variables. One is a K, one is a I'm defining the two another variables. One is a, am I able to see? Yeah. Okay. So maybe. So here, yeah, two different variables, tau and k. So k is equals to the 2kc square, means I'm assuming this entire part, except this term. Sorry, yeah, except this term. I'm assuming these things as a simple constant. It's a k, and change in the error signal is the delta E, which is a change. It is not a constant. I'm taking the tau. These three are also the constants, which is a tau. So k equals to this much and tau equals to this much. So here, finally, we will come across the three equations. Yeah, we'll come across the three equations. Yeah, these are the two terms we define now. So go back to the diagram actually. So go back to the diagram in order to bring these two equations, equation number 10 and equation number 8. Let me go back to the diagram. I'll do one thing. I'll split up this one to the two parts. Wait a minute. Split up this one to the two parts. Over here. So delta Et is equals to the Kt into delta E. How we got this equation means, this is what we are having. So we are having the thermocouple now, which is converting the temperature into the voltage. So how much temperature is there for the outflowing liquid? How much temperature is there for the outflowing liquid? Wait. Yeah. How much temperature is there for the outflowing liquid? That much value is going to be measured by the thermocouple, and it is going to be gives the equivalent to Et. So means Et is directly proportional to the theta. Means whenever there is a change in the theta, obviously there is a change in the Et. Et is nothing but the voltage coming from the thermocouple because of the temperature of the liquid, outflowing liquid. So because of that, delta Et is directly proportional to the delta theta. Means whenever there is a change in the theta, the same change is going to be reflected right over here. It is a proportional. So I am removing the proportional with the proportional constant Kt. So similar to that, here we are having the comparator. Comparator. Change in the error signal is nothing but change in the reference and the change in the the signal which is coming from the thermocouple. Means delta E is equals to the delta ER minus delta ET. So these are the two equations which are coming from the circuit diagram. If you take this circuit diagram, so theta is directly proportional to the ET, and E value purely depends on changes in the reference signal as well as changes in the voltage which is coming from the thermocouple. Now let's come back to this actual analysis. It is only for these two equations I took that explanation. That comparison actually. So we have the total last few equations, which is the equation number 9. You should consider the equation number 9 and the equation number 10, equation number 11. So here if you see this one, these two equations are very simple in manner, you can easily realize. But the problem is we have a little bit complex time domain equation. This one is the time domain equation. Okay. So when we are having the time domain equation in the complex form, so obviously we know that we should apply the Laplace transformation. to that particular Laplace transformation to that particular equation. So when you are applying the Laplace transformation to this equation, obviously it is going to be converted into the frequency domain. So when one equation in the frequency domain, other two are in the what is the time domain, it's not going to be the good. That's why I'm going to apply the Laplace transformation to the equation number 9, equation number 10 and equation number 11. So after applying the Laplace transformation to this equation, so if you see this one, as I said, when the equations are, when the variables are there in the time domain, they are represented in the small lowercase letters, and when they are converted into the frequency, they are going to be written in the uppercase letter. Look at this one. E of s, k is a constant now, so forget about the k, because we can write outside, because it is a even though you are applying the Laplace transformation, k is not going to be considered, the delta e only is going to be considered. So Laplace transformation of delta e is nothing but the delta es, and if you take this one, it is a Laplace transformation of the first order derivative. Laplace transformation of the first order derivative. When you are applying the Laplace transformation to the first order derivative, we have one formula like this. What is that? Laplace transformation of Laplace transformation, wait, Laplace transformation of f dash of t is equals to Laplace transformation of f dash of t is equals to s into f of s minus f dash of 0. So Laplace transformation of first order derivative of any equation, or I can rewrite this term as a Laplace transformation of df of t by differentiation of f of t with respect to the t is equals to the s into f of s minus f dash of 0. So here I am assuming that all the initial conditions are equals to the 0. So that's why I am not having this term. So if you take this one, it is going to be the s into delta theta of s plus theta, minus theta naught of s, theta naught should be there, but I am not taking that term because it is a what is that? All initial conditions equals to the 0. So I am not considering the 0 part. Which part? This part. I am not considering this part, this particular part in this equation when you are applying the Laplace transformation to the first order derivative. So after that, you are having this term now. So Laplace transformation of change in the delta t is nothing but the theta s, and means they are simply converted into the frequency domain, from the time domain into the frequency domain. Yeah, from the time domain into the frequency domain. Wait a minute. Okay, let it be. So from the time domain equation into the frequency domain. Now, from the equation number 9, we got another new equation. And if you, after applying the Laplace transformation to this one, after applying the Laplace transformation to this, to the 9th equation, you got this one. After simplification, going to get the new equation. Means I would like to rewrite this entire equation into the temperature of the liquid, which is the output liquid. So delta theta of s equals to the k by tau s plus 1. Means this is a one term, this is another term. The rest of things are the simple mathematical calculation. This is from the equation number 9, and this is from the equation number 10. I'm applying the Laplace transformation to the equation number 10 also. I'm applying the Laplace transformation to the equation number 11. So they simply converted into the frequency domain. Only the term which we are supposed to explain is the first term of the 9th equation. So that's why I give the explanation. So after that, you got the new equations, 3 more new equations which are in the frequency domain, 12, 13, 14. 12, 13, 14. Okay. Now, so based on these 3, we are having the diagram now. We are having the setup for the temperature control. What is the main intention of this topic? In order to maintain the temperature of a liquid, temperature of the liquid available in a container at certain value. So the main intention is maintaining the temperature of this container using the closed loop control system, using the method called as closed loop control system. To maintain the temperature of this particular container, we have done some derivations. Based on the final equations coming from this particular setup, you are supposed to draw the closed loop circuit diagram. If you take this one actually, so in this diagram, the thermocouple who is sensing the output signal and giving the information to the heater, thermocouple is the one which is sensing the output part. What is the feedback element? Which senses the output part, output of the system, compares a part of the output with the input. So that is called as the feedback element, which we covered in the first period. So in the last class, we covered this term. So here the feedback element is in this particular setup is a thermocouple. If you see this one, and whatever the equations you are having, which is nothing but 9, 10, 11 means 12, 13, 14. Based on those three equations, you can draw this entire setup in the closed loop block diagram lines. In the closed loop block diagram lines. Look at this one. This is what we are having. Okay. So in this diagram, we are having the inflowing liquid. We are having the inflow liquid. In this diagram, we are having the inflow liquid. We are having the outflow liquid, and the thermocouple. So based on this, if you see this one, this is the temperature of the inflowing liquid. Because of this one, we got one scenarios. Means we are having the some equations now. We derived the 12, 13, 14, right? So based on those equations, look at this one. Based on the equation number 12. This equation, actually, what is the output of this particular entire setup? The main intention is we are supposed to maintain the temperature of the liquid. In order to do that one, we should compare the inflowing liquid with the outflowing liquid temperature. The temperature of the inflowing liquid with the temperature of the outflowing liquid. If there is a difference, then you are supposed to turn on and turn off the heater. Turn on and turn off the heater. Okay. So these three equations, based on these three equations, so output of the system is that nothing but theta. Na? So the change in the theta depends on the two terms. One term is from the input, another term is from the this is from the setup. Setup is nothing but the container. This is from the inflowing liquid. These two terms are represented in the diagram like this. Look at this one. So as we don't have the board, we're going to go very much. Look at this one. So the equation number 12 is a delta theta of S is equals to the K by tau S plus 1 into delta ES. Equation number 12 from the equation number 12 plus 1 by tau S plus 1 into theta I of S, delta theta I of S. So this term is representing these two parts. This one is representing the second term of the equation number 12. This one is representing the first term of the equation number 12. If you see this one, it is a K by tau S plus 1. So that's why I wrote right over here. It is overwritten. So that's why K by tau S plus 1. So if you compare those two, these two terms are actual delta theta is nothing but what? Sum of these two terms. So that's why I'm having the summing factor right over here in the control system. And we are having the feedback element now. What is the feedback element? Thermocouple, which is converting the which is comparing the temperature of the outflowing liquid with the outflowing liquid with the reference signal and generating the error signal. Based on that, it is going to be turn on and turn off the heater. Okay. So means who is measuring the output and taking the giving the feedback to the system is the thermocouple. So the thermocouple factor is going to be act as a what is that? Feedback element. And this one is compared with the reference signal. It is there from where? It is there from the equation number 13, I think. So it is the equation number 13. Yeah, it is the equation number. It is the equation number 14. It is the equation number 14. Difference between the error signal, reference signal, and the output of the temperature. And this factor is going to be the feedback element. This is the thermocouple one. So let me show you that one. Equation number 13 also. So this is the one. So delta theta of S is the input to this particular one. Delta ET of S is the output to this particular one. So obviously delta theta of S is equals to the KT into delta ET of S, which we have seen in equation number 13, right? In equation number 13, which we have seen. Delta, sorry, that one is the input, right? Input to the feedback element. So that's why it is going to be the delta ET of S equals to the KT into delta theta of S. And these two also satisfying the block diagram. Means this is the So this is a reduced block diagram for the entire setup to maintain the temperature or to maintain the temperature of the container. To maintain the temperature of the container, this is a closed loop block diagram for your setup. Closed loop block diagram for your setup, whatever the setup which we have seen. Means if you want, you can see right over here only. Here only. So this is a normal circular. What is a block diagram in terms of the electronic form? But this one is in the control system form. This entire thing is in the control system form. Now, let's go back to our analysis. So after this, after getting the final block diagram, we are supposed to check it out again. The error signal, error occurs. We are supposed to check it out, error occurs. Okay. So it is not that much easy. So this is the circuit diagram what we have seen. So I'm assuming that k by tau is plus 1, whatever the block diagram which I have shown in the right over here, same block diagram is there in your PDF file, same block diagram is in your PDF file, which is nothing but this one. So I'm reducing this factor k by tau is plus 1 as a g of s and 1 by tau is plus 1 as a ei of s. So I'm reducing those two factors. So from this, delta theta of s can be rewritten from the equation number, what is that? It is the equation number 2, I think so. So much of back and forth. G of s, right? G of s. Yeah, this term. So this term is going to be from the circuit, from the block diagram also you can take. So right over here, it is from the block diagram. If you take this one, I'm not considering this. Let us suppose we don't have any inflowing liquid. So obviously, theta of s is nothing but this one is going to become the output. So this factor is going to become the, when we are not having this one. So this factor is going to become the output of this particular block, and this is the input. So from this, you are going to get this term. And if you are considering the you are going to get this term. It is a rewritten. You are going to get this term. But we know that delta E of s is nothing but what? The difference between the reference signal and signal coming from this one. The difference between the reference signal and the signal coming from the thermocouple. Signal coming from the thermocouple. We are substituting that one. So after doing this, after substituting the ER of s, ET of s in this equation, and after doing this one, we are going to get the delta theta of s is equal to k by tau s plus 1 into this difference. And finally, write the delta theta of s terms at one side and reduce this equation. The final equation, after simple mathematical calculation, the final equation which you are going to come across is the delta theta of s is equal to the k by tau s plus 1 into, tau s plus 1 plus k into kt into delta ER of s. This is the equation which we are supposed to concentrate more and which we are supposed to discuss more and more. So here, the main intention is, once you turn on the system, in the last class we have seen one thing that means during the transfer function of the closed loop system, we have seen one thing that, what is that? The system, once you turn on the closed loop system, it is not going to be gives the exact result. It is not going to be gives the desired output all of a sudden. It will take some time, which is called as the settling time. So if you want to know more about the system performance, you are supposed to calculate, do we have any error at the t tends to infinite? At infinite time, do we have any error? I would like to calculate, do we have any error because of a particular setup, because of a particular what is that, the connections, particular circuit diagram. Do we have any error which we are going to come across in the future? In order to calculate that one, what we are supposed to do means, we are supposed to calculate how much error we are going to get at t tends to infinite. Means after starting the system, let us suppose I started the system right now, and after t tends to infinite time, means after a long period of time, do we going to get any errors because of the long span of the means the system is in the on mode for a long period of time. To calculate that one, what you are supposed to do means, you are supposed to apply the final value theorem to the final equation, or final value to the final value theorem to the final variable, that is the output variable of your system, and which you are expecting. Means you are expecting that the temperature of the output liquid, the temperature of the output liquid or liquid outflow should be at certain value. That value is nothing but the reference value. If it is not there, then we are supposed to do the controlling process. Is that circuit diagram is going to be gives the sustained explanation, means results, desired output for a long period of time or not. In order to calculate that one, we should go for applying the final value theorem. We should apply the final value theorem to this equation in order to calculate the steady state error. Steady state error means once the system acquired means stable position, reach to the constant stable response. After reaching the stable response, are we going to get any errors in the future? In order to calculate that one, we should apply the steady state error. That is we should calculate the steady state error. So that in order to calculate that one, we should apply the final value theorem. Final value theorem to the this particular equation. So final value theorem is nothing but at limit t tends to infinite, what is the system response? So means we are having this equation. So final value theorem statement. You make a sigma. Actual thing is you can consider this one in the other way also. See, previously we applied the Laplace transformation in order to reduce the complex circuits in simple manner and get the final output. We applied the Laplace transformation. We converted the time domain equation into the frequency domain equation. So if you want to convert back this result into the again time domain equation, you are supposed to apply the inverse Laplace transformation. There is one scenario, and another scenario is when you would like to calculate the steady state error in the system, you are supposed to apply the final value theorem to the output variable of your system, So output variable in our case is a delta theta fs. The steady state error calculation, the final value theorem statement says that the steady state error is equals to it is actually, this equation is looks like this. Wait a minute. Wait some time. Yeah. So this equation is going to be that is the final value theorem. Final value theorem. To calculate the steady state error, we are going to have delta theta steady state error, which is going to be calculated when the time span is almost reached to the infinite. So for this equation, we are applying the limit s tends to 0, s into the actual function. So here the actual function based on the previous one is a s into e of s into k by tau s plus 1 plus k kt, which is there right over here. If you see this one, this is what we are having. This is a steady state error. SS is nothing but the steady state error. It is a SS actually. So limit t tends to infinite. So this one says that there is a final value theorem. The main intention of the final value theorem is to calculate the steady state error. Why we are supposed to calculate the steady state error means at infinite time, what could be the error occurrence in the system performance? What could be the error occurrence in the system performance? So I'm applying the final value theorem to this equation, and here we are having the reference signal now. E of s is nothing but it is actually it is a ER of s, not E of s. It is a ER of s, not the ER of ES. It is a ER of s. This factor is a ER of s. Here we are having the ER of s now. So the equation is going to be the s into k by tau s plus 1 into k by tau s plus 1 plus k into kt, 1 plus k into kt. Yeah. So this one over here, ER of s. So I'm assuming that the ER of s is a unit step signal. The reference signal is we are taking the reference signal now for the system performance. I'm taking the unit step signal as a reference signal. So the unit step signal in the frequency domain, in the time domain it is a 1, in the frequency domain it is going to be the 1 by s. So this is what we are having the actual unit step signal. I'm assuming the ER of s. ER of s is nothing but the reference signal. So this one is a unit step. So we used to call this one as the 1. This is the gain, amplitude of this is the gain or amplitude gain. Amplitude gain. So the amplitude is a 1 here. Amplitude. We call it as a gain. It is a time period. So this is a 1. This means the gain of the system is 1 throughout the time period. So this is in the time period format in the Laplace transformation. When you are applying the Laplace transformation to the unit step response, you are going to get 1 by s. You are going to get 1 by s. This is what we are having. Laplace transformation of 1 equals to 1 by s. So that is what we are having. The reference signal is the unit step response, which is a 1 by s. I am substituting the 1 by s right over here. When you are substituting the 1 by s right over here, s gets cancelled. Then you are going to get what is that? K by tau s plus 1 plus k into kt. So if you substitute the s value equals to the 0, then this term is going to be nullified. So obviously steady state error signal, that is the output of the system, means how much steady state error we are having. So that is going to be the k by 1 plus k. Now we are supposed to discuss more about this one. If you see this particular equation, when there is a step change in the reference signal, then the temperature of the liquid is going to be changed by the k by 1 plus k kt. If you see this one, if you want to reduce, if you see the final equation, which is the delta theta ss is equals to the k by 1 plus k kt. If you see this final equation, I'm not considering the k factor, so just considering the kt. Kt is nothing but what? It is the gain of the or proportional constant of our thermocouple. So if you are having the more gain in the feedback element gain is a little bit more, then obviously this factor is going to be reduced much. Or I can say that if k by 1 plus kt in this denominator, if k kt is more greater than 1, then what will happen? This term is going to be terminated. So final equation is going to become the k by k kt. So k gets cancelled, it is going to be 1 by kt. So how much? If you are having the more kt, more gain of the feedback element, then the steady state error is going to be very, very less at infinite time. So this is all about your what is that? Temperature control system. This is all about your temperature control system. So this is the conclusion of the topic. So if you are having any doubts regarding this particular topic as well as the last class, then you can message me in the WhatsApp group. Okay, I hope all of you understood the topic. Thank you.